Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everybody. My name is Putri Travira, and I am from KG 1 in English, fourth semester in Dentistry program, Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta. Today, I would like to talk about my paper presentation, and it is about the connection between coffee consumption and study performance in dentistry UMY female students. So approximately, there are 10.63 million or around 60 kilograms of bags of coffee produced in 2021 in Indonesia. It is the data from the USDA Foreign Agricultural Service. There is also another study conducted by the Honest Docs in 2019 that stated 23% of 9,000 people in range between 12 to 17 years old drink coffee regularly. The other 23% of elders up to 65 years old even drink at least 11 cups of coffee in a day. So these numbers just shows how coffee is now a part of our lifestyle. And as college students, specifically dental students or DentStat, we have a very high demand in concentration and focus. We also have very strict schedules, including discussions, lectures, skills lab, and also don't forget about the monthly exam. So it is very clear that most of us drink coffee, not only because of its taste, also because we really need something to boost our energy, our mood, or our study performance. And in this study, I, as the author, would like to explore, do coffee really can affect students' study performance? And the study performance here discussed including concentration, focus time, physical energy, and study mood. And to guide this research, I have two research questions. The first one is, what is the connection of coffee consumption and study performance among dentistry and UMY female students? And the reason of why I conduct this research and female students only, because according to Journal of Addiction in 2018, it is found that males are found more likely to smoke than females. So it is more likely for males to depend on coffee, not only coffee, but also smoking when they have to stay up late at night to study. So I decided to only conduct this research in female students only. And then the second research questions would be, how many doses of coffee can actually affect students' study performance among the dentistry UMY female students? And also I have some literature review here. And when it's nearly exam week, just like I mentioned earlier, because we have monthly exam here, we really need something to boost coffee, and most of us chose coffee. It is because coffee has been known to be the performance booster, both intellectually and in the physical activity. This is also valid because there was a study conducted by Fred Holm in 1979 that stated coffee actually can raise plasma focus, so that can impact both cognitive and physical capacity. And also I found another study, similar studies, that connects the coffee consumption and the reaction time test. The first one is from Wardana et al. In 2014, found that reaction time value decreased after drinking coffee containing 85 milligrams of caffeine in 30 minutes. There are also another study from Passman et al. In 2017. They found improvement on reaction time in a study using a dose of 32 up to 256 milligrams of caffeine in coffee. So, For this study, I am using quantitative study with questionnaires that was distributed through WhatsApp groups, and I use Google Form for the data collection, and I share the questionnaires in 2020, also 2021 batch of Dentistry UMY, and for the respondents, there are 30 respondents of Dentistry MY female students, and they had to be non-smoker because of the reason I have stated earlier, and also they had to be the casual coffee drinker. And now moving on to the results. So before I jump into the results, I want to state that I have 7 questions, if I'm not mistaken, as my research instruments, and they are all multiple choice questions with 2 questions that can be put additional option by the respondents. Okay, so now the first chart, also I have divided the results into 5 chart and 2 tables. And now the first chart talk about the respondents' daily consumption of coffee. And it is very clear, we can see here that out of 30 respondents, 29 of them, or around 96.7%, drink 1 until 2 cups of coffee daily. And there is only 1 of them, or around 3.3%, that drinks 3 up to 5 cups of coffee in a day, which is a lot. Also, I put another option actually whether there are respondents that drink more coffee than 5 cups a day, but none of them chose it. And moving on the second chart, this chart was used to determine how many espresso shots in respondents' daily coffee consumption. And the highest percentage, about 40.6%, drink coffee with 1 shot of espresso in their cup of coffee. There are also respondents around 37.5%, or about 12 of them consume half shot of espresso in their coffee. But there are also 18.8%, which around 13, sorry. There are also 18.8%, or around 6 respondents that drinks double shot of espresso. And there are 3.1%, which only 1 respondent drink coffee with more than 3 shots of espresso, but none of them chose 3 shots of espresso in their cups. So there is actually someone who drink coffee more than 3 shots in a cup in a day. That was amazing. And also the third chart, this talked about the respondents' time on drinking coffee, whether they drink before studying, while studying, or after studying. And the highest percentage shows that the respondents drink coffee while studying. This is around 76.7, or 23 respondents that like to drink coffee while studying. And 7 respondents, or 23.3%, prefer to drink coffee before studying. I think they need to charge their energy and increase their mood for studying. But none of them chose after studying. Moving on to the fourth chart, this was used to talk about the respondents' dependency on drinking coffee for studying. The highest percentage, or around 70%, which is 21 respondents actually can study without coffee, and the other 30% can study with coffee substitute like milk or bubble tea or any cold beverage. But none of them cannot study without coffee, so I guess they are not really addicted to coffee. And the last chart talk about the respondents' opinion whether they are agree or not that coffee is a perfect study companion. 90% of them answered yes, they are agree that coffee is a perfect study companion, while 10% of them not. 10% is around 3 respondents. They don't agree that coffee is a perfect study companion, so maybe they have another option for study companion. And now the first table, I'd like to remind you that in these questions, the respondents are able to add their own answer, and they are also able to choose more than one answer. So the first table talked about which effects of coffee that the respondent feel after drinking it. And the biggest percentage, around 76.7%, coffee makes the respondent's mood better. And there are also some people that chose coffee make them able to focus longer on doing something. And then they also agree that coffee can make them more concentrated in studying or doing tasks. They also feel fresh and energetic. They're also able to stay awake at night. But there are some people that say it depends on the kind of coffee. And I have analyzed the data that there are some respondents that think brewed coffee make them feel dizzy, while sachet coffee kind of quicken their defecation. And now the second table. In this question, the respondents are also able to choose more than one answer and also add their own additional answer. So the table talked about the respondents' answers to the question, how do you think coffee can affect your study performance? And 68.8% or around 20 respondents, it is the biggest percentage, agree that coffee improves their concentration and they can focus longer in doing things. 34.5% of them also say that coffee helped them to stay awake at night so they can complete their task. And also, some of them feel excited to do their task when they know they are doing it by drinking coffee. This is me, actually. I also feel excited when I know I'm doing something with drinking coffee. And the last, coffee improves their mood to do their task. This is about 3.3%, or just 1 from 30 respondents said so. So, moving on to the discussion, the respondents agree that coffee can affect their study performance, which the most chosen effect is coffee can improve their concentration and also coffee can improve their mood. And from my research, also found that most respondents consume coffee 1 until 2 cups in a day with mostly 1 shot of caffeine, which is around 210 milligrams. And the last part, I can conclude that this study has examined on how coffee can affect on female dentistry UMY students and in how much dose of it, which we know that the most effective respondents feel are better mood and they can concentrate more and focus longer in doing their task or studying. And then the coffee they consume starts to bring out the effect after 1 until 2 cups with 1 shot of caffeine a day. And Most of them also agree that coffee is the perfect study buddy. So we finally reached the end of my presentation. So I hope this presentation, this research can be useful for those who wants to find maybe alternative to improve focus and concentration in short time. We can use coffee because of most of my respondents agree coffee can be a perfect study buddy. So that will be all for me. Thank you very much and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good day.